Occupy Medford when we started, some of the actions that we've taken. Also talk about the structure of how we work, how our General Assemblies work, the kind of committees we have. Then we want to talk about the future of Occupy. It's kind of difficult to talk about the future of Occupy as a whole because this movement is tomorrow 4 months old, and it went from one city to I think over 1,500 cities worldwide. So for me to say where it's going next month is going to be pretty silly of me. Also want to talk about a statewide project we're working on called Occupy Oregon, and I'll get more to that. And we also have a flyer that relates to, I think it's Actual Moving and Money Tomorrow is included on the flyer. Up front, it also gives our GA time and location. It's right by the door, so make sure you get one before you leave. So the first thing, what is Occupy? It started on September 17th. I love that, yeah, that's good. It started on September 17th, so it'll be 4 months old tomorrow. On October 15th, which is actually when Occupy Medford started up about a week after Occupy Ashland. It was in over 900 cities worldwide, and as of December 10th, according to Wikipedia, which is always a reliable source, they've got 2,500 meetup groups. So meetup.com has a lot of groups. There's 2,500 groups worldwide that sponsor the Occupy movement. So a lot of people say that it was inspired by the Arab Spring. I agree. It was also inspired by the May of 15th movement in Spain. We took a lot from that and how they worked their General Assembly and how they reached consensus. The first thing we had were our encampments, and we used those as a big organizing tool just for solidarity to get everybody together. It's a lot easier to communicate in person, like right now in our groups, than it is through email and Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. While it's useful, it's not the best thing to do. So eventually, Occupy Portland, Occupy New York, they blamed homelessness and drug problems, and they said, we've got to take these encampments down. And they tried to take these problems that have already existed in society and blame it on Occupy, and they use that as an excuse to evict us from all our occupations. I mean, these are issues that we all know have already been there, and Occupy just kind of put them in the light in one central location. So they thought that by evicting us out of parks that our movement would somehow stop, but we only continue to grow and grow. Some of the things that we've looked at post-evictions has been the foreclosures issue. Occupy New York has been doing a lot with that, as well as Occupy San Francisco. A lot of other occupations. Occupy Ashland is working on that. Occupy Medford is trying to look into how we can approach that issue. So let's talk about Occupy Medford. Started on October 15th in Alton Park. There was about 300 people, maybe 400. But if you listen to Channel 5, there was like 30, so I don't know. I was there, I think it was like 300. We chose not to occupy before the 15th as kind of a logistical reason. We kind of come together too soon to start an actual occupation in Alton Park. We also felt like we were going to get kicked out kind of relatively soon. We didn't feel like we were ready to do that. So after the 15th and our big rally there, we started a series of bank protests in front of Bank of America and Chase off of Crater Lake. We also did that on Wells Fargo. We got a lot of news coverage for that. We recently had a courthouse protest on December 5th, or no, November, someone knows when it was. Courthouse protest that they auction off the houses right on the courthouse steps, and Occupy Ashland's been doing that for a while. 5 minutes? Okay. Gotta move quickly. Then we did sponsored Occupy Congressional District 2, Occupy Walden's office, and from that came the Medford 6 that were arrested from the sit-in. A host of organizations went along with that, and we kind of used the Occupy banner as a meme, and that's one of the great things about Occupy is everyone can get behind it because it's one new broad movement that everyone can kind of get behind, including a lot of people sitting in this room that are actually from other organizations, but feel that this is where the energy is right now, so we're able to work together, and no wonder that's been great. One of the more recent actions we took was Christmas caroling yesterday in the mall. For those of you who haven't heard, we put it up on YouTube and sent out to the news. That was a lot of fun. Anyways, it'll be on YouTube, so I won't spoil that. So I want to talk a little bit about the structure.
That's
We hold our General Assemblies every Saturday from 12 to 3 p.m. Ashland was doing theirs twice a week. I believe they're moving it to once a week. And the General Assembly is important because when we all get together, it's not that there aren't organizers, but there aren't leaders necessarily. Everyone's opinion who comes to GA is equally valid, and they have just as much time to speak and just as much time to propose ideas. There's no hierarchical structure in a sense. It's direct democracy and consensus. We're all over the web. We have a website. We've got Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, email. We've got blogs that we use all over the news. So it's not hard to find us if you're looking for us. It's a little local banner. Yeah, we can talk about that. Okay. Moving forward, we're looking into how to deal with the foreclosure issue. We haven't decided on a specific action for that yet. Occupy New York actually recently put a homeless family in a foreclosed home. That was great, but we don't have the resources necessarily to carry that out yet. We're working on connecting the Rogue Valley occupations. Occupy Ashland and Occupy Medford work together and continue to do so, and we're trying to kind of blend into one right now. I think I am actually going up to Grants Pass to meet with some of their organizers as they're going to start holding GA soon. We also use a variety of direct actions, whether that's sit-ins, protesting. We're looking more into sit-ins because I was personally inspired by the Medford 6 to do that, so I hope we can see more of that in the future. One of the tools that Occupy also uses, both nationally and that we hope to use here soon, is called
Mic check.
Mic
check. Mic check.
Mic check.
This is also called.
This is also called.
People's microphone.
The people's microphone.
It is used.
It is used.
To amplify our voice.
To amplify our voice.
And to civilly protest.
And to civilly protest.
They've used that at Michelle Bachmann events, Obama, every speaker you can name. We try to get to those events.
Ashland Food Co-op.
Ashland Food Co-op, and it's civilly disrupting. It works at General Assemblies when there's only one person talking and there's hundreds of people, and it works at events. It's a great way to get our voices heard. The most important thing about Occupy moving forward, both nationally and here, is that we have ideas about where our direction goes, but our direction and where we end up is as much up to me and the people who came with me today is up to everyone else in this room. If you come to our General Assemblies and you help us meet, you get proposed ideas. So where it goes is up to all of us. It's not a particular direction that we get to set in motion and decide where we go. One of the last things I wanted to talk about was OccupyOregon.net. It's a joint project between Occupy Medford and Occupy Ashland. We recently set up this website in order to facilitate communication, resources, and action between all of the occupations, specifically within Oregon. We've sent out invitations to all the occupations. We've had responses from a few. We have some people who are actually in Portland right now from the port shutdown and are working on trying to connect everybody together and get everybody on board with that website. I've got a lot of high hopes for it. I don't know where it'll go. It's got forums, it's got a directory, which I don't have a shot of, but it has every occupation listed and how to contact them. So it's a great networking site, and there could be a lot that come from it. It might not come to anything, but at the very least, it's going to sponsor communication and facilitation between all of us here in Oregon, working with the same thing. And one of the last things I want to do is to tell you about our General Assembly, which is tomorrow, Saturday from 12 to 3 in the Medford Library. We will be there at least for the next 2 months, because that's how long I booked the room for. You can also find us on the web at occupymedfordoregon.org. There's our email, and I hope to see everybody there tomorrow.